How far do we have to go?
Less than 300
Miles.
miles. Even less if you're only doing the Festive 400.
There's no such thing.
Babe, I will make...
So the Festive 500 is a challenge that started in the south of England in 2010, I think out of a Rafa clubhouse, I'm not 100% sure, but the idea is to ride 500 kilometers between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. For those of you who speak American, that's 310 miles over 8 days. Breaks down to about 38 miles a day. Originally, I believe you got some kind of medal or medallion for completing this. Now it's a Strava challenge, so like everything else, you get a virtual award or whatever. That's not what I'm in it for. I just find it to be an interesting end of the year challenge. It also sometimes ties in with the end of the year mileage goals, which is a whole interesting concept of itself because miles really don't mean that much, or distance. It just really depends on how you ride. I am huge on the idea of smiles over miles, and as I saw Ronnie Romance just say in one of his latest blogs, it's the quality of the miles that matter. The other thing is, it's been snowing like crazy since the new year here, so I've been going out for rides that are more like 12 or 13 miles, but feel just as hard as a 25, 30 mile ride. It's just so much slower going. And I'd also say I have friends who are really into mountain biking, and pretty much every mile they ride is harder than every mile I ride. So, it's one of those artificial things, but the fact of the matter is I still enjoy it. I put 6,500 miles the last few years into that little box Strava has, and then I try and hit it towards the end of the year. It's just a little motivation as the weather gets worse, and that's kind of what the Festive 500 is to me. That's also what makes it an interesting challenge. It is the holidays. There's a lot going on. You have the weather to deal with. You can see on this ride, we had planned to go out for a much longer ride, but it was much more slow going with the slushiness on the ground. It had warmed up into the 30s, and we didn't expect there to be this much still on the ground. We thought it was going to be more like what you're seeing right here, smooth sailing. But yeah, being careful, picking your line definitely slowed us down a bit. But to me, that is kind of one of the things. It's out there enduring the elements and trying to get it all done. And so here, this first ride is Christmas Eve. As you can see, we went out to Kent, we went to Bentry Coffee Roasters. Would I have been out on Christmas Eve on a day like this if I wasn't going for this challenge and Erin wasn't thinking about the challenge and she also had a year-end mileage goal in mind? I don't know, probably not. So it is something that got us out and about and spending time together on a gloomy day. I have found that there is a weird element of Festive 500 haters on social media. I'm going to talk about that a little later. It is interesting, though, because so many of my friends and so many of the people that watch my stories or my videos are so supportive of trying stuff like this. So it's a weird dichotomy, and I do want to get into it a little bit. As you could see right there, or maybe you could, my shifter broke. I broke my front shift cable, I realized later, in the shift lever. So we got back, and Erin was done for the day. She was like, okay, we got out. That was gloomy. I don't feel like riding more. So I grabbed the Gunnar and I headed out to get a few more miles in. I did not want to start the challenge from way behind. Usually because of Christmas Eve and Christmas and my plans on those days, I just don't get the miles in. So on this ride, I dropped down into the valley. Instead of hitting the towpath, which would have been really soggy and a real mess, I climbed up over a hill that bypasses it and back down. Then I went out towards Summit Lake and I rode some of the gravel. So that's the other thing that makes this challenge interesting to me is, yeah, I could get up every morning and spend less than 3 hours just hammering out the miles on a road bike, but that's not the way I want to ride. So I'm still getting elevation. I'm still riding with friends. I'm still doing different things to make it enjoyable in the way I still want to ride my bike. And again, I'm riding a sweet bar bike with 55 millimeter tires. It's just, I don't go out to do the Festive 500 in the most efficient way possible. I go out to still enjoy my week and my vacation time. I work for myself. There's no such thing, but I just don't have a lot of work usually in that week between Christmas and New Year's. So let me know down below if you guys set yearly distance goals or if you attempt things like the Festive 500, or do you have other kinds of goals like you just want to do something like a solo overnight bikepacking trip or get your first century ride in. I'm always curious what people's views on those kind of things are.
Festive 500, day 2. It's Christmas. On my way to mom and dad's, kind of a roundabout way to get a few extra miles in. Mid-30s today, so not too bad for riding. Not like last Christmas where I think it was in the high 50s. I remember riding over to my parents in the sun and all the kids were playing outside most of the day. So, but no complaints, it's not raining. So my original plan was to get up kind of early and get more of a longer ride in today with the weather being decent, but I just didn't do it. I laid in bed with the cat Christmas morning. I have been out, I think, every night for over a week at this point doing something social. So, man, I've eaten so many meals out and then all the Christmas food. So, Festive 500 makes sense this year to kind of, I don't know, make up for some of that. Over this old stone wall is Stan Hewitt. That was the home of the founder of Goodyear, John Seiberling. Pretty cool. They get it all decorated and lights for the holidays. It's a museum now. But I'm winding my way through West Akron. I'm supposed to be there at 11:30. It's 10:55. And since I didn't really plan this route or think of how long it'd be, a little over 7.5 miles in, I'm not sure I'm going to make it on time. We'll see. I lived in 3 different places in this neighborhood, so it's always a little nostalgic to ride through it. At the duplex there that I lived in, another one around the corner. But yeah, I think most of my 20s I lived right around here. So there's a golf course on that side and the busiest street in the region right over here. So I always ride this sidewalk since there's no cross traffic or driveways. But I also used to ride this when I commuted to work decades ago on my Trek that's not my winter bike. One morning I was really tired. Well, all mornings were. I had to get there at 7 and I was in a band, so I was usually staying out late. But one morning I got a little too close to those bushes, hit my handlebar on them, and kind of OTB'd. Showed up to work all scraped up, and with not a very good excuse that I just ran into a bush. 11:13. I'm good on time. I'm gonna swing by the house I grew up in just for the heck of it. My buddy Ted lives in that house now, but my best friend growing up lived in that house right there next to it. My God, I remember when we planted those oak trees. That's my old house. A lot of trees are gone though. The old pine trees, a lot of them are dead. Feels weird. It's also winter, but it still feels weird. Turned down my parents' street at 11:22. So couldn't have planned it better if, well, I didn't plan it at all. I guess I don't know where I'm going with this. Worried about being late and I'm the first one here. 11:23, 13.8 miles, 550 feet of climbing. So we're between breakfast and presents and the time when my dad's side of the family comes over. So I decided to sneak out. And I didn't sneak out, I told him I was leaving. But get a little ride in. It was either take a nap and be even more tired, or get out of the fresh air and get my legs moving. I need to wake up a little bit. I feel like this will be better for being social the rest of the evening than sitting around and falling asleep on the floor. This road is a long downhill. It's pretty quiet. The only downside is I'm going to probably come right back up it. So, oh well. That'll get me moving. I said I wanted to get the blood flowing.
So I'm guessing the people who lived on those kind of chill country roads tucked back there, kind of a remnant of what Bath used to be like, are not happy about that little neighborhood that just popped up over there. But it did give me some new miles to ride. Right there, what I'm showing is a little cut that we ride sometimes in the summer. You could ride all the way down those power lines into the Cuyahoga Valley. Actually, one of my friends just attempted it in the winter, but he said it was a real slog out there with the snow that's all over the long grass right now.
Quick 7 miles, 384 feet. Now back to Christmas.
So everyone was a little concerned with me riding home in the dark on Christmas night, but it wasn't a big deal. The roads were actually pretty chill on the way to Christmas and on the way home. I always enjoy hanging out with my dad's family too, so we had a really nice time and another great Christmas with 3 bike rides. So day 3 of the Festive 500, Erin and I were heading out for kind of our typical Kent loop. We did a different way to get to the hike and bike because she had some wander miles in my area she wanted to clean up. 34 degrees to start out, but it climbed up into the mid-40s on this ride. So this is a chance to talk about something that I found strange since I've been doing the Festive 500 the last few years. I've seen a certain group of people post a lot of hate about going for this challenge. The weird thing is, it never comes from my non-competitive cycling friends, the alt cycling community. All those people are giving me congratulations, saying go for it, saying good luck when I see them out on the road, who know I'm doing it because the channel and social media. But there's this group, and it's almost always my friends or accounts I follow that are involved in competitive cycling that seem to put it down. And again, any product I like, anything I like that's popular, I have no problem with seeing a meme that is funny about it, but these just seem way more mean-spirited than funny. So, like I said, the only offensive joke is one that's not funny, and these are not funny, they're just mean-spirited. So it's strange to me. And I really have come to the conclusion that it's 2 things. One, it's FOMO. Some of these people, they love this kind of stuff. They don't have the time to do it with their family, with their schedule. So it's FOMO, so they're like, I don't know, it's that competitive mentality, so they're putting down something they can't do. The second thing I'm thinking it is mostly is that they're seeing way too much of it in their feed, and they're getting angry about it, people posting about it all the time. One, in my opinion, it's like, hey, welcome to social media, that's how it works. People post about what they do. If you don't like that, you know, what the heck, that's nothing new. But 2, if you're following so many people that are annoying you, why are you living your life like that? If you're getting mad about people going for a personal challenge, maybe you're looking at the wrong things. Anyways, not to turn this into a negative thing, it is a small group, but it is like prevalent, and I just find it really strange and I'd say unfortunate. Anyways, in this ride, Erin was about to break off and head back home. I was meeting up with Ben, and we went and met a new friend out at Magic City Brewing, which was pretty cool. We had a great conversation about bikes and life and culture and everything. So another thing, my Festive 500 attempts are this. They're not me skipping out on Christmas with my family to go ride my miles. They're doing the things I enjoy, riding with my girlfriend, meeting up with my friends, getting drinks, whatever.
Festive 500, day 4. So the midway point, I'm actually doing pretty good. I'm only 3 miles off the average I would need to hit the 500 by doing the same amount every day. So being that, you know, Christmas Eve and Christmas, I stayed on track. That's better than usual. I'm usually coming from behind at this point. Today's a nice day. Gonna be in the 50s. Sunny right now, chance of rain later. It's about 10:30 in the morning. I guess it's still early, or the midpoint as I just said, but since the beginning of the 4th day, still early in the 500. I think this is the first year where none of it has felt like a chore yet. I've been riding with other people or having a destination. Today's actually kind of the first completely free ride I'm going on, where I'm just, even right at the moment, I don't know where I'm heading.
So to piggyback off what I was saying before, anyone who skips out on their normal life obligations to ride their bike, I mean, that's who they are. It has nothing to do with a bicycle challenge at the end of the year. The other thing for me, this is a pretty nice day. It's in the 40s for the end of the year. So what else would I do besides go ride my bike? That's what I like to do with my free time. I'm very slow on work between Christmas and New Year's and either side of it. It's just the way it is. So yeah, I ride my bike, I work on projects around the studio, and I hang out with family and friends.
So I am solo today because Erin had her own lunch plans. So my plan though is just to do a shorter ride right now, head back to the studio and ship some more swag orders out, and then head back out a little later. So I've never let the orders build up like this before. You know, putting the new shirt in the store right before Christmas, I didn't get it done. And I have no efficient way to ship shirts. It's just a little tedious, and I don't mean that as a complaint. It's on me for not keeping up. So yeah, I just need to break it up into blocks. I haven't had one block of time to get it all done. So thanks for your patience on any orders. I'm one-man show. It's me printing labels, sticking them on a package, walking down to the mailbox. There's no distribution or anything else. But yeah, thanks for your patience. Thanks for your orders. Thanks for watching this video. Give it a like. Consider subscribing if you would like to see more. So everyone's asking for a proper review of the Pogies. These are the neoprene bar mitts ones. Bar mitts brand. Hasn't been cold enough. I can't review something until I try it in the real conditions, but I'll tell you, just creeping into the 40s and climbing into Akron, they're too warm. There were a ton of people when we passed by last night. Too dark to show it though. So Erin just called me and her lunch got canceled, so I might hit some gravel, finish up this ride, and then meet up with her after getting a few things done, feeding the Edmund, and then head back out on the road. It is a windy one, I have to say. It's a day where my drop bar gravel bike would be a little better, but I haven't even had the chance to look at what's wrong with it yet. I just realized my Wahoo's not working. It stopped working. It's showing 5 miles in 42 minutes at 7 miles an hour. I can't believe it. I mean, I will map this ride and put in the right mileage. I hope Strava counts that for the challenge, but I don't really care. If Strava counts it, I'll know. But that's annoying, and I'm trying to think of what to do. Do I stop it and reset it? Do I start recording with my phone? I don't know. Yeah, it stopped recording somewhere downtown. Really annoying. Still not working. No idea what's up, but I started recording with my phone. I'll have to manually enter the mileage that I missed. Of course, I start recording with my phone and it turns back on. I have to say, when it comes to recording, this is probably only the second time my Wahoo has failed me in all the years I've been using it now. So, who knows? Maybe there's a glitch in the system. Maybe the satellites are, I don't know. It's a sunny day. I'm not sure what's going on. But I guess I'll have to, it stopped working again, crop this activity to where it stopped, upload my phone, and then do a manual entry for the gap in between. Kind of funny because I was looking and I'm like, man, if I'm only 5 miles in, I'm gonna skip the gravel. I haven't gone very far and that'll be slow going, but I wasn't only 5 miles in. So now I've ridden farther than I planned to, which is totally fine, but yeah, it is what it is. On that whole point of not being a slave to the numbers but really enjoying knowing them, I hate not knowing how many miles I got or what my average has been. I just like to know the numbers. I like to glance down and be 10 miles, okay. Well, I guess it shows that I'm not too obsessed with my head unit if I could ride 3-4 miles and not realize it isn't being accurate. Interesting, my Wahoo quit for what is at least the third time. Change in plans. Looked at the forecast. It's looking good now outside, but we have rain on the way. It's at 110 minutes. So Erin decided she didn't feel like getting ready to go that quick. So I jumped back on the bike, knock out my 23 miles solo. So I don't know, I think we might head towards Kent, loop around and head home, and then work on things. There has been a surprising amount of traffic in the city today. I know a lot of you comment about how dead our city looks. Not on this Friday after Christmas.
So you'll probably notice on this week how much we ride over to Kent, you know, Freedom Trail, hike and bike, making a loop. You'll see in other videos here we do a bigger loop, including the other different parts of the hike and bike. It's basically because paved trails, when it's been raining and melting snow and all that kind of stuff are usually just the best. You know, the Towpath just makes an absolute mess of your bike. Again, with the full fenders, it's not so horrible with the Gunnar, but it's still messy no matter what, and it's still stuff you have to clean up, and it's slow going. It becomes more of a slog, just less fun to ride. And even though on this particular day I'm not stopping, there's just lots of good places to stop in Kent for food or a drink or a coffee and what have you. It's kind of the perfect distance for that.
Wow, the wind is really kicking up even more than it was on the first ride, understandably with rain coming. I can see out that way where there are the clouds. I think I'll get this ride done before it rains. I didn't bring any rain gear, but even if it rains, I'm not stopping anywhere, so it's in the upper 40s now. I'll just be toughing it out on my way home a little bit. I just ran into Jay Dandy, who a lot of you regulars, or if you watch the live stream, you know him from the chat, Mr. Maps himself. So yeah, that was cool. He's doing a loop in the other direction, but I, like usual, forgot to get a photo, get a tiny bit of video. Always when I run into someone on the trail, I just end up talking and I never think about it till I pass and I'm out here alone again. Just passed another friend. We didn't stop, but he's my buddy. I don't ride with that often. I'm with on some group rides, but like Yeti stuff, Yeti squad, but he's ridden more than I think anyone I know. I think he passed 10,000 miles in October or something like that. So yeah, I see him on the trails a lot, but it's always like a quick wave. So tonight I need to make sure I have one of my drop bar bikes ready to go. You know, normally I don't care about how fast I'm going, but doing solo rides, trying to knock out some miles, and it's really windy. It's just, in this specific case for me, is one time where the sweep bars can be a negative. On your left. There have been a lot of people out today. After having the trails to ourselves for the last month, people are out walking. And people like this who love to hog the whole thing. "12 miles in, I have seen more people on bikes today than I think I've probably seen all month." So yeah, a Friday after Christmas, a lot of people off work, almost 50 degrees. Makes sense. Working on our new trail over here so we don't have to be out on the road. It's pretty cool. So I'm not going all the way into downtown Kent. Already 13 miles, so we're cutting through this neighborhood that'll get me over to the hiking bike and back into Cuyahoga Falls. Just past someone I knew, but it was too quick for me to place their face. Had a beard, super wide handlebars. Like, what are those, the towel racks or Ron's Ortho bars? Whatever the crust super wide bars are, had to be those. I think it was a mountain bike, like a 90s style, but yeah, it happened too quick. And I didn't, they waved like they knew me as well, so, but happens sometimes. 15 miles in. I have to say I pushed it on the second half of that ride a little bit. I could feel it in my quads. I don't know, it got real gray. Maybe it's just the old bum leg. Always tell me it's gonna rain. So that's my alley over there, but I told Edmund I'd be back in 2 hours, so I got another 15 minutes. Let's knock out another quick mile. You know, every mile now is one I don't have to do on New Year's Eve. Well, that was some good timing. It's raining about 10 minutes after I got home. Jay Dandy didn't believe me.
So this was Saturday, December 28th. Erin came over to ride around 10:30. We had plans to get a long ride in. We knew we wanted to do at least 60 miles. It was raining when Erin got here, so we held off on leaving till closer to noon. So we headed out to Kent and got some lunch, and we knew when we sat down for lunch we were going to pull out our phones, look at the map, and then figure out where we were going to get some more miles in.
We got some fancy ducks over here.
Before we headed out to Kent, we did come down and do the Summit Lake Loop south of downtown Akron. Frequent flyer also on this Festive 500, just another way to ride paved trails and get a good amount of miles without a lot of stopping and traffic lights and all that kind of thing. We cut through by campus to get over to the Freedom Trail. This parking deck is a monstrosity that has killed this street. It should have been built with the option to have storefronts on that first level. And then here they're rebuilding the road, and now there are going to be separated bike lanes, which is really nice. They did a trial of bike lanes and people freaked out with just paint. So now they just rebuilt the whole road and we get them anyways. My coins, my chocolate coins I always get for Christmas that I use for energy on the Festive 500. Those are my Swedish fish. And then up next, what you'll see is me and Erin pull over because Erin yelled out loud, "It's happening." I had no idea what she was talking about, but there was an owl up in this tree. She has never seen an owl in the wild in person, and anytime the rest of us do, we're always like, yeah, pretty normal day. Didn't see any owls today. It's always been the joke. But so Erin finally saw her owl, and she was very, very excited about it. Yeah, lunch at Erie Street Kitchen, which is always awesome. We had chicken and waffles this day. They were delicious. I got the Nashville hot, she got the Southern fried, and we were both really happy with them. So at lunch we decided we would head down the Portage Hike and Bike Trail. It's 9 miles to where it ends out at Peck Road. The plan was to go out there, hit the end of the trail, and then turn around and come back towards Kent before riding towards the upper Hike and Bike Trail. I think I've done this section because of the out and back, and it's just kind of guaranteed miles when you're riding away from home on every Festive 500, except the one where I did the challenge to ride it entirely indoors.
Or now.
Or now, yeah.
Or maybe this video comes out in 2025, I don't know.
Oh, good point.
The Swedish fish also come in my stocking every year for Christmas, so like the chocolate gold coins, they've become a Festive 500 tradition for me. I actually don't keep sweets or candies around my house because I'll just eat them, so getting Christmas candy actually works out because I'm doing this challenge and I need snacks like that. I was actually pretty smart this year on the Festive 500 to make sure I always had food with me. When I was starting, when I went to the grocery store right before this started, I made sure I had some Cliff Bars and just some extra stuff, so I was always carrying something in my bag. As much as I ride my bike and as much as I do long rides and endurance rides and bike packing, I still end up making the mistake where I just go out sometimes without enough food. Sometimes I think I'm going to stop somewhere and then I get myself in trouble because there's nowhere to stop. It's a really dumb mistake to make for an experienced cyclist.
Cool. A little bit of a sprinkle.
Guys, I saw an owl today. My first owl in the wild.
Who?
Owl.
Who?
Owl. Why are you asking me that? Do I say owl funny?
Who?
Oh. Please don't post it.
Now send it!
So we ended up with 60 miles on this day. Erin was willing to go a little bit farther, maybe try and finish her year-end goal, but I was feeling pretty cooked, so that was it for me.
Going lightweight, baby. Wow, lightweight for ATV. So just a light drizzle right now. This is where fenders really shine because they're, you know, just buying me a little extra dry time since I'm not getting wet from the road. So I have decided to forego any rain clothes, any kind of rain protection, even though according to the radar it's almost completely guaranteed that I'll get wet. Let's talk about it when we get to the bike path. Oh, the wind, but we'll be going east-west soon enough, which should help. It's right out of the south. We are on our way up to 60 degrees during this ride, 60 Fahrenheit. So being that I'm still completely dry, I am totally warm. So for now, for going the raincoat was a good decision. I think it would have been no matter what. I just think it's just too warm for me. At 60 this time of year, I can't wear it. I'd be sweating so much I might as well be wet from the rain. I've said that before. I've talked about the rain cape. I bought it. I bought it more for bike touring situations where you can't avoid the rain. I still want to try it out. I haven't yet, but I did not want to try out something new on a day where I'm just trying to get my miles in. I want to go get my 30 if possible. And so I was like, man, if there's any annoyances with it or I don't have it dialed the way you use it, it's just a bad idea for today, but that'll still be a video coming down the line whenever the weather conditions are right and my ride works for it. I ride to ride more than I ride to make content. So let's talk about what I am wearing. Lightweight windbreaker, my Rafa one that goes on every ride. Light wool merino, long sleeve, and a t-shirt, wool underneath from Dirty River. Down below, I'm wearing some Swerve, who went out of business shorts. I like them, they're short, big leg openings, so I figured they wouldn't get stuck to my legs as much if they get wet. I'm wearing knee-high wool socks, which are overkill right now, but I thought I was heading out into the rain. That's what the forecast showed. And then just my Vans. I tried to put on my chrome shoes, which are fairly water resistant. I remembered why I stopped wearing them. They're just too tight, even going sizing up from Vans. I wish Chrome would just peg their shoe size to Vans shoe size. Anyways, I'll show those shoes in the Discord, and if anyone's interested, I would send them to you just for the cost of shipping. Oh yeah, up top, people ask all the time, this is a Kali helmet. I love it because it has built-in lights all around. You can't see the front ones during the day, which is actually kind of even cooler. Underneath that, just a cotton cap. Not the best choice. I have light synthetic caps, and I should have thrown one of those on. So I only went with my frame bag today, one I bought off Pudgy Pedal Pusher. It's a Swift. I moved all my tools into a tool canister, the one that goes underneath the down tube, so I have room. I actually brought a wool cap, wool gloves, an extra wool layer. I didn't know. I'm thinking I get caught in the pouring rain, something goes wrong, need to call for a ride or try and fix my bike, I might want extra layers. I'm now feeling like even if I get soaked, it'll be unnecessary. If I would have known I was going to have this window, I would have left that space to take stuff off, because I'm already sweating on my forehead and armpits, a little bit on my back. So that's how it goes, because mixed weather. That's why I like to bring big bags and stuff. The other reason I didn't is I thought they were just going to get all wet. But I don't ride in the rain that much, as you can tell. I really only ride in the rain if we're on vacation or tours, you know, or if I go out in the summer and I get caught in it. If I've planned something, a big group ride, you know, a trip, then I ride in whatever the conditions are. At home, I don't have to. As you guys know, I'm not a true bike commuter because I live at my studio, so I don't have to dial in rain gear, really. But experiences like this help for the next time like this. I forgot to mention I'm wearing merino wool boxers. Obviously, something like that for a day like today. I don't want to wear my normal cotton boxers. And that was all I had to say. I have to say, just like last year, having a low mileage for me November and early December, and then doing this challenge, I could just feel the definition in my legs and my arms come back. So another thing for you Festive haters, it is getting me back in shape around the time when I eat all the worst food. So not the worst food, just a lot of food, a lot of eating out. Starting to drizzle again, so a couple last things just in case it gets pouring and camera lens is all covered. The legs feel pretty good for having a 60-mile day yesterday, and more importantly, all the accumulated miles before that. I don't feel like I could get going very fast though, but I think that might have to do with this. It's kind of a cross headwind, and less about so far my legs. We'll see how that feels on the way back. If it is a little tailwind, I'm gonna try and hot tail it, but we'll see. Hot tail it for December condition. 9 miles, still just a very, very light rain. I have to say, after starting the Festive 500 on what Erin said was the grossest day ever, a little bit of an exaggeration, but it wasn't great, and seeing nobody out, except our one friend Erin, of course, the last few days, we saw everybody out. And looking at Strava, we just missed a couple other people we know. But yeah, from personal friends to just a lot of other cyclists, to a couple people yesterday who recognized me from the channel. So pretty cool. Totally, we've had all the vibes, all the different vibes on this ride, weather-wise too. Except, you know, we had ice and snow on the ground, but we haven't had any snow from the sky this year. So. And what made me think of that is I haven't seen a cyclist today, but there is one ahead of me. Should be passing here soon. I can't believe that dude let me get that close. Well, looking like my clothing theory is about to get tested. I zipped up the jacket just in case. I don't know. In case of I don't know what. So as stated, I'm perfectly prepared to be wet today. Not prepared, but I know I'm going to be. There is thunderstorms in the forecast, which I really do not like though. So hopefully we miss those. I just passed a father and a son. They're wearing ponchos. They're just walking. But as I went by, he was like, hey man, good job. So, got more people toughing out the rain and being positive about it. Shout out to Rock Eastwood too. He made a rain video a couple weeks ago and motivated me on this morning to get out because he did it in much colder temps than I'm doing it right now. So now that my windbreaker is mostly wet, temperature wise, I feel right. I'm not overheated anymore. I'm not sweating right now. Big old puddle. It's always there. Becomes ice in the winter. We'll see how it feels as I get soaked through the shorts and into the wool layers. This bridge becomes like ice when it's wet, so we got to be careful. So I'm almost halfway through what I'm hoping to ride today, so just about 15 miles, 350 feet of climbing. Not much to speak of, obviously, on that bike path. There'll be more on the way home. And I'm obviously fine right now, which makes me wonder, if it had been 40 degrees and raining today, would I have went out? I feel like I would have. I probably would have worn my wool tights with that 3D weave and my rain jacket. Not sure about the layers underneath. But yeah, I guess I probably just would have done less miles. But it's hard to predict what your mentality is going to be or how you're going to feel till you're out there. So riding through Kent like we often do, but no stopping today. All my snacks are on the bike. All my water. Had a Cliff Bar at mile 10. Got some Swedish fish and chocolate coins left to go if I need them. I have to say, beyond just being fine temperature wise, wet wise, I don't feel too bad either. My core and my toes are still dry. My feet in general. Because you know, we're just now getting to what I think a meteorologist would call a light rain. So no proper deluge yet, and deluge. But I do think, and probably most people agree, the worst part is when your feet start to get soaked and when it first starts creeping down into your nether regions. But yeah, it's when it first hits. Once you're finally soaked and you accept it all, as long as you're warm, it's not that big of a deal. I just hate those first, I don't know, 10 minutes when it starts to get there. Okay, I think we've officially moved into the steady rain category. Definitely soaking through my sleeves, a little bit on my chest and stomach. At least keep my saddle dry for a little longer, and in turn my butt, or saddle cover should I say. I am definitely someone who likes to stand up on climbs, especially on alt bar or flat bar bikes. But it's funny, when I'm getting soaked, I hold off on that for a long time because, as just mentioned, keeping the saddle and butt dry for a while. But I also find everything just shifts and that water gets in new places when you change your position and stand up. So it's kind of strange for me to stay in the saddle the whole time. Ain't feeling quite as festive anymore. But hey, 21 miles in, so 20 miles of a good ride. It's gonna be 9 more of not enjoying it quite as much. If you guys ever feel like you would like to try YouTubing, I would say do it. Because hey, hanging out with you guys, especially on less favorable days like today, is a lot of motivation and helps me get through it. Okay. Oh, there I am. We are properly wet now, but 6 miles to go. I'm close to home, but we're not going to stop. We're going to add a loop. We're already out here. We're already soaked. Might as well get it done, right? Note to self. Fenders don't do much good when turning in a puddle. I think my one foot's more wet from that than it is from the actual rain. I do have to say, with 2 miles left to go, if it had been like this when I left, I think I'd be a little chilly, but at the least I would definitely need my gloves. Shouldn't talk going into a wet corner like that. 2 hands on the bars. 5 and 10, bro. 5 and 10. Is that what? No, 2 and 10. 2 and 10. 2 and 10. Don't listen to me. Well, my feet just soaked through, but I only have a half mile to go. I'm coming for you, Edmund. Huh. I guess it was never properly pouring because my back actually stayed mostly dry. I think my butt is a little dry too.
So Monday, December 30th, New Year's Eve Eve. Erin needed to get about 37 miles in to get her yearly goal, so that was the plan. We were going to head out to Kent again after going through downtown Akron, and the plan was to get some food over at Frank's Place, as they were going to be one of the only places open on this day before New Year's Eve. I was feeling pretty tired. I'm sure I would have went out no matter what, but I don't think I would have got this many miles in if it wasn't for Erin trying to hit her goal. Did I say Frank's Place earlier? I meant Ray's Place. So we did what we consider our extended Kent loop. Instead of hitting the normal hike and bike back, we go out on Hudson to Judson and then ride what we call the upper hike and bike, just a way that we use to differentiate this part of the trail.
Babe,
What?
how does it feel to be 20 miles away from your biggest year ever?
The only thing I could imagine that's better is being 0 miles away.
What about being 10 miles away?
I mean, that's better too.
Come on.
Yikes.
They died. All right. Yeah.
Hurry, though.
Yeah.
That thing looks like it's about to get wet.
All right.
So this was a bit of a weird experience. A utility pole had broken, and instead of just waving us through really quick, the worker there told us to go back the other direction. It wasn't really a possibility where we were, but the power line that he was worried about was right over our head, so if he had just waved us through really quick, we would have been fine. Anyways, we went down the side road instead of just going straight through, and Erin had a route that she knew would work for us. We also did a little bit of wandering here, getting some new miles, because the way we went, it was an opportunity to do some like little closed neighborhood sections that she said has never made sense before. So yeah, that was kind of cool. But I was hurting. I would not have got this many miles in on this day if it was not for Erin.
All right, it's New Year's Eve. Only 22 miles to go, but it's supposed to rain all day. It's supposed to start in about an hour. So I got up early for me, and I'm out here hoping that it doesn't rain till I'm on my way back. And we're close. It's in the 30s, and I'm not wearing rain gear again. Now I feel like one of those Rafa ads for the Festive 500. descending to the valley woke me up. 30 miles an hour on the cheeks. Yeah. Legs are definitely tired now, but 18 miles to go though, so we'll get it done. I hope. Just gotta climb up into Akron. So I came through downtown Akron onto the Towpath south, thinking this would be one of the least amount of stopping with a minimal amount of climbing. So haven't had to even put a foot down yet, so far so good. 6.5 miles into the ride. We did get a sunrise and still a little sun peeking through now. None of the clouds look too ominous. I would love to finish this year dry. Otis's fancy ducks. They're not ducks at all. Erin sent me a link, but I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head. I'm still not awake yet. Coffee's waiting till we get back. Turned around in 9.5 miles where the pavement ends, so we'll find that last few miles somewhere closer to home. Can I get it? Is this painful to watch? Do we have a wet boardwalk ahead? That was peaceful. I think I gotta get my phone out. First time stopping. We need a photo. Wind is killer again today. It's really made this Festive 500 tough. That's been the toughest part of it, has been the wind, I think. Especially on a sweet bar bike. The dogs are barking. Woo! I can see the rain out over the city now, but I think we're gonna beat it. Miles to go. If this was even the Festive 520, I'm not sure I'd be making it. All the miles are adding up now, and my legs are pretty done. 1 mile till a hot cup of coffee in my hand, and hopefully a warm Edmund on my lap. Oh, these give us some scorches. But I'm so glad I set my alarm when I did. Edmund woke me up super early for breakfast, and I looked at the radar, set my alarm earlier, got out and did it. Yep. It's starting to drizzle now.
So it felt really good to get another Festive 500 done, even though the last couple days were a little tough. And we have had nothing but snow and cold since, so all these long rides now look really, really nice. Thanks as always for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.